a middleweight bout between an exciting stand-up fighter. It kicks off with a bang. Michel Pereira is probably being forced up to middleweight, in my opinion. The last time we had notable experience from him was when he missed weight and lost his opportunity to take on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now, he was originally matched up against Marc-Andre Barriault, but Barriault on social media was forced to withdraw with an injury. Short notice again, I believe, has the impact on the lines. Andre Petroski, I believe, would have been the favorite coming into this fight with full fight camps, but because Petroski does have some cardio issues, Pereira is not the best in cardio either, but Petroski does have cardio issues. I do think that this does favor Pereira, who is still a very big welterweight. He's going to be the taller guy, even though he's the welterweight coming up to middleweight. I do think this is going to be an exciting fight. Pereira has tuned his striking way more since he debuted in the UFC. He came in with a very capoeira style, and now he's kind of fine-tuned that. He's looking for big shots. He's finding them too, so he has looked very, very impressive. It's in-cage maturity that seems to have developed for him. I'm interested to see how 185 pounds looks on him. Probably won't make a play anywhere near this fight until we see them on the scales, but either way, him being a pretty good anti-wrestler in his own right, with neither guy having a clear cardio advantage, where that is most likely the way I see Pereira losing fights, I'll probably end up picking Michel in this fight, and if nothing else, this will be a fun battle between two really, really good middleweight. Michel Pereira, as I mentioned, is favored going into the matchup, and probably because Petroski is on short notice. It makes sense. And Petroski was almost finished by Gerald Meerschaert, who's not known as a striker. Pereira is the longer fighter, even though he is the welterweight coming up. As I mentioned, Michel will probably come out as the victor, as Andre has shown in the past that when it comes to a striking fight, if he's not able to get this fight to the ground, he's going to be at a disadvantage, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to carry on. When we look at the way Michel Pereira has been fighting recently and his in-cage maturity, he's allowed 4 straight fights to hit the final bell and go all 3 rounds, and he hasn't landed a knockdown in any of those fights. With that in mind, I think that this fight has the chance of going over the 2.5 total rounds, but not enough value there for me with Petroski gassing on short notice. So, what do I look at? Again, we get into the stats. Although Petroski is not a great striker, he is a great wrestler, and he is able to get the fight to the mat. And the fight is favored to go the 10 to 15 minutes, so I think that Petroski will get his shots in. And with that in mind, if you look at the alternative total strike numbers, you can get Petroski at over 50 total strikes. This is actually a strikes play and not a significant strike play, because I don't want to ignore the fact that if Petroski lands a takedown and lands some of those fanny shots on Pereira, I want those to count to my number. So I really do love the Petroski over 50 total strikes. And he's landed this in 4 of his 5 UFC fights, and the only fight he didn't land it in was his submission over Nick Maximov in under a minute and a half, and I don't see that being the outcome of this fight. So give me Petroski over 50 total strikes in the fight at plus 110. It's a clear play for me, and I love that one.